Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Phil and Ryan, listen up. Ryan, last check in, and before we get into it, I'm good. Are you ready for this? I'm going to put you on the spot just very quickly.
Uh-oh.
Tell me who you talked to on the phone today. You knew I was going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, got a surprise talking to you right before I had to go to work, and it got a surprise little phone call, couple seconds with Cheyenne Sellers. So
Oh
shout out
boy.
to Cheyenne, wonderful basketball player. Glad we got to see her in person. Great. Maryland, might not be having the best of seasons so
Yeah.
far, but maybe they can pick it up, get going, kind of just like UConn needs to pick it up and get going a little bit.
For sure. All right. So we appreciate and look, Ryan, I want to get your take very quickly too on this. I know I talked about we have a time limit, so I will be very quick. Just I know it's tough to talk about. But hey, things can turn around very quickly, as we all know in the basketball capital of the world. Turn around for the better. That is. What's your take? The headlines today. I'm sure you didn't like it, and a lot of other people. It's hard to talk about. We get it. We all know that you get it, and we appreciate you guys. We all know that you're out there, Ryan. You know what I'm talking about. Even for the ones that aren't tuning in as much anymore, we know you guys are out there, okay? And we appreciate you all, even if you all don't watch every episode, subscribers or non-subscribers. But Ryan, we just want to remind them, we know that you're all out there, and we want them to keep showing the love for not necessarily me and you, like I say all the time, but for the Huskies. The reason I say that is kind of tough. What's your take on? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I saw one of the worst starts or rankings. That is number 17 now. What's your thoughts just very quickly? I mean, what worst in 30 years?
Yeah, worst ranking or lowest ranking in 30 years. Kind of I don't really know the right word for it. I don't know if I should be surprised or worried, but lot of different
Mm,
emotions, I guess I could say. It's definitely been a little bit of a disappointment, I guess you could say, so far to start the to start the seventh just to start the season throughout these first 7 games. I'll
yeah,
eventually try to get to what I'm saying,
all
but
good,
yeah,
all good.
little disappointment. But again, I mean, just a couple injuries, and it just seems like it's been a little bit of the same story again for UConn. But hopefully, we can always count on March, and that's something that UConn it always looks forward to. But definitely, really hard schedule so far. So yeah, it's gonna start getting down the crunch time soon.
Well, and to be honest with you, if you want my take on that, Ryan, I think that that's saying a lot. I mean, to be honest with you, to they're number 17. That's not too bad. I mean, just think how many schools have never been in the top 25. So when you kind of think about it, that's a kind of an achievement. So hey, number 17, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and roll on over to the last check-in. Ryan, what do you have for me, Ball State? I know I went down this roster, and the biggest name, I stopped, I paused, and you're like, yeah, Phil, that's right. Number one, 5'8", sophomore, Hannah Mule. What do you have for me, Ball State?
This is an extremely important stretch for UConn, that they have five
Yeah.
games left in the month of December. All 5 games are at home, and UConn usually is really hard to beat when they play at home. So I think even though they still have two ranked opponents to play, a date with Marquette coming up, the next 5 games are very winnable just because UConn is playing at
Mm.
home. Ranked the lowest in 17th for 30 years. So, UConn is definitely, hit a little bit of a rough patch right now. But, I don't really want to find out what happens if they do drop one or two of these games that they have left in the
Oh,
month of December. So hopefully we don't find out what happens.
yeah.
But let's get into Wednesday night opponent. against Ball State Cardinals. They're 6-1. Cardinals that have been pretty good these recent years under head coach Brady Sally, entering his 12th season with the team. Ball State, a part of the Mid-American Conference. They don't play the best teams, but Wednesday night they can put their team on the map by beating UConn. And with how vulnerable the Huskies look right now, anything's possible. A little bit into the Cardinals lineup, led by guard Madeline Biscoff, Ali Bakay, and Nyla Hampton, averaging around 9 to 13 points a game, joined by two forwards, Alex Richard, who is coming off one of her best games so far, 17-point performance, and the 6'2 junior, Mary Kiefer. And of course, like you said, we can't forget about Hannah Mule, Nika's sister, comes off the bench, only sees about 12 minutes per game, but hopefully we can see both of them on the court together and maybe at some point guarding one another. It should be a pretty cool experience for them. I know I saw their families coming all the way over from Croatia to watch this game, so definitely a very exciting time for the Mule family and definitely a very special night. A couple of keys to the game. Ball State, I saw they usually like to shoot the three a lot. But in my opinion, I think UConn's been pretty vulnerable in the inside, trying to guard opponents inside the paint. So hopefully UConn can do a pretty good job of guarding the outside shot. Hopefully Ball State doesn't come out like Texas did and starts knocking down outside shots and not missing, because it could turn into a pretty close game if that starts to happen. But I think the most important thing for UConn in this game is winning the turnover battle and rebounding the ball. They can't get out rebounded in this game, and they can't continue to lose possessions because of how many turnovers that they're given and opportunities that they're giving to the other team.
Yeah, very well said. You can't forget players like for Ball State. How about Madeline Bischoff, Ryan? We have to remember she scored a career high 23 points against Belmont back in March of 23, right? And again, you talk about the shout out to the Smith twins, identical twins. I told you about Haley Smith and Olivia Smith, both freshmen on this roster. And then you have Ryan. To be honest with you, their only loss has came against Notre Dame. That is, so a 90-59 defeat against Notre Dame, number 14 Notre Dame. So, yeah, getting back to UConn before we get into comments very quickly and head out. Also, predictions remind me of that. To be honest with you, I'm guilty of this. I didn't say Ashlyn Shade, her name in that last game recap, but man, to be honest with you, I don't know how you feel about this. Giving Ashlyn Shade more playing time as Caden Samuels. When them two were on the floor the other night or the other evening, that is, they were lights out to me. I think that they should, I don't know. It seems like that now, again, I love when Paige Beckers is on the floor, but this all happened when Paige Beckers was out. And I remember just in the blink of an eye, when Samuels and Shade was on the floor together, I remember seeing comments about this. And man, the team was rolling with them two out there. I mean, they have provided big minutes off of the bench, just like KK Arnold. But if you want to be honest, Amari DeBerry, I haven't spoke a lot about her like you and all the other subs out there. I'll tell you this, at the situation that UConn is in right now, I not to say anything more, but Ryan, I think you know what I mean. I would really, truly like to see Amari DeBerry in the game, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, even if she's not producing that much, Ryan, put her in. Just put her in.
Yeah, it's a really unfortunate situation, and I was thinking about it today when I was writing my notes down that Amari didn't play in the last game against Texas. It's just really unfortunate because it's not really that often you see a player of her talents come out of high school and just, I mean, especially when they come to UConn. And of course, we talked about how a lot of these girls, these women have very high expectations put on them. And unfortunately, Amari just hasn't quite been able to reach those expectations. And, you could say that she wasn't fully given the opportunity, but it's definitely a very interesting situation. We've been trying to figure it out for the past 2 or 3 years, but she could definitely be a huge help to this team, especially because Ayanna Patterson and Caroline Ducharme, no word on yet, probably a little too early to receive a word on this Monday night, but hopefully we see something tomorrow night or possibly Wednesday night right before the game. But unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't really think we're gonna see Caroline or Ayanna in that game. But hopefully they can play. But in terms of the freshmen, yeah, like I said in the game recap, it seems like when they, two, possibly all three of them, and including Ice Brady as well. But KK, Ashlyn, and Cadence, the three recruits that we received this year and were lucky enough to get on the team, their impact has been incredible. And usually you don't expect that much out of freshman players straight out of high school, but their impact has been unbelievable for this team so far. And I think we're gonna have to see their impact throughout the whole entire season at this pace if UConn wants to beat some of these higher ranked teams and have success when it comes time to way later in the season.
All right, how about this? I'll read a couple comments together, and then you can analyze because we need to get out of here, and then we need to make our predictions. Jessica Ortiz and then Jason D'Amico, a couple, and we do appreciate everyone. They came through again, Ryan, big time, left their comments. To us, it's just as important as coming through, leaving your comments on a loss as it is a win, right, Ryan? Because we want to see the feedback and what you all have to say. Jason D'Amico, for us UConn fans, this year is going to be an exercise in patience. That said, we need a center badly. Peace. And then Jessica Ortiz says, I'm a UConn fan, but Texas played more together than UConn. It's sad to see them lose so much. I'm speechless. Yeah, I mean, a very young season, Ryan. But yeah, we're at least Ryan and I aren't the only ones speechless now.
Yeah, yeah, I think a lot of people are speechless, and like I said, I mean, UConn is so used to winning, and not, with them struggling right out the gate so far, not a lot of people really know what to do or know what to expect moving forward. But I think in terms of the center, I mean, Aaliyah played great in that game against Texas, and UConn losing Dorka has definitely been kind of tough to recover from. Olivia Nelson-Adota was great for us as well, but I think Aaliyah Edwards isn't too far off of both of those players and the level that they played at. So I think Aaliyah fills the center role just fine, even though she's listed as a forward. But I think she's been playing great. Hopefully we get to see more performances like she had against Texas. Hopefully we see that more consistently throughout the year. But yeah, I mean, it's a rough time right now for UConn, but hopefully at some point we get heading in the right direction. And like I said, these 5 games to finish off the month of December with all of them being home, it's obviously a great opportunity for UConn to go on a little bit of a winning streak.
All right, predictions. The Huskies have been doing well defensively, in my opinion, shutting down teams, especially in the second half, with getting in their faces, preventing shots to fall in the basket. Ryan, it's the offense that I'm concerned about right now, to say the least. With that said, we've been having trouble, I mean, in my opinion, getting to 80. Usually sometimes it's easy to get to 100 for the UConn Huskies, but I don't know. In this game, Ball State Cardinals you're talking about, I'll go 80 to 65. 80 to 65. UConn wins it, gets back on track against Ball State.
Yeah, I think it's so weird because, when UConn in the past, if they played a team like Ball State, no disrespect to Ball State, but you would expect UConn to win pretty handily. But, I think at this point, with how UConn has been looking these past couple games, we really can't say we know what to expect, but I think UConn does prevail in this game, and hopefully, like I said, they can start this winning streak. I'm going to go 85-70 UConn over Ball State in this one.
All right, Ryan, I will see you. I appreciate you again. I will see you pretty late on Wednesday evening. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.